There are two words used by courts in determining the propriety of police action, from searches to killings, that seem to have magical powers: officer safety. After all, nobody wants to be responsible for the death of a police officer. Can there be anything more important than officer safety? Well, yes, there is. It's everyone's safety. And that's just not me saying it, but three well-known, highly regarded cops, Charles Huth, Jack Caldwell, and Randy Means, whose article appeared in Law & Order, a police management magazine. Just the title's enough to give me chills. There is no police safety exception to the Constitution. Exactly. These three former police officers, who are major players in police training, offer this bold assertion. Generally, the rights of the people trump the rights of an officer to be guaranteed a safe outcome in dangerous situations. This is a radical statement coming from police. It contradicts a century of law that simply takes for granted that police safety comes first. I call this the first rule of policing: to make it home for dinner. No cop wants to be hurt or killed on the job, and who can blame them? They want to do their job, and at the end of their shift, have a lovely dinner with the spouse and kids. A perfectly reasonable desire. But in order to achieve this safe outcome, police have gone from the mantra of not having to wait to see the muzzle flash before shooting, to shooting before there's any muzzle to look at and there's any threat to their safety at all. In a recent video, a South Carolina Highway Patrol officer ordered a driver to give him his license. When the driver reached into his car to get it, the officer started shooting. There was no gun. The officer saw no gun, but he feared for his safety. Why? Because he didn't know for sure that the driver wouldn't pull out a gun. Better shoot than sorry. So it's gone from officer safety based on some actual reason to fear to shoot first based on some theoretical possibility of potential future harm. The first rule of policing meant that the officer wouldn't tolerate any possibility of harm. And so he just shot the driver preemptively. The problem, of course, was that the driver did nothing more than what the officer told him to do, and still he got shot. The officer was unwilling to wait, as that meant that there was a chance of being harmed. It was not a chance he was willing to take. This isn't to say that police shouldn't be entitled to go home for dinner, but that everyone should be entitled to go home for dinner. Somewhere along the way, that part of the equation has been lost, and our courts have been complicit in allowing the invocation of officer safety to trump the safety of the very people cops exist to serve and protect. There's nothing wrong with officer safety, and there's nothing wrong with the safety of every person, cop or not. And there is nothing wrong with constitutional rights. If defending the Constitution means the police must assume some risk of harm, that's part of the gig they signed up for. The Constitution has no officer safety exceptions, and I applaud these three ex-cops for having the guts to say so.